Hi everyone, I was now in the University of Alberta Botanic Garden.
You may think botanic garden is a garden, but it's actually a multiple garden composed into one garden. It is a 97-hectare property with cultivated gardens, indoor show house, and natural wetland, woods, fence, and meadows. But unfortunately, due to the COVID-19, all the indoor houses is not available for me to see. The garden is in a region of Aspen Parkland, a transition zone between the southern Prairies and the northern boreal forest of Alberta. In this living museum, they foster biodiversity throughout the plant collection. You can see different plantation, which we'll see later in this video. But also they celebrate diversity in people too. You will soon see that there are different gardens from different culture, which is what they say, but we'll wait to see. And this garden was established in 1959, and inside there was the Algenham Garden, Kermoto Japanese Garden, and the Patrick Samuel Ampen Garden, Indulgence Garden. It's beautiful view and multiple plant collections throughout the area. It is not only a very good visitor attraction to the area, but also a research site, a living museum.
So here, in all this garden collection, you will discover a wide diversity of plants that can survive and thrive in harsh northern climate. And one of the most important things to see in gardens is their plantation. To make a garden, by its word, you need to have different plants. And when you have plants, animal will come, and biodiversity. Anyway, the plant collection here was just amazing. For example, in the indigenous and herb garden, there was plants with history that have been used by different people, and many of the cold hard spices in the rose garden were bedded in Alberta and Western Canada. In Permunedale, we can see large assortment of perennials in a scheduled and peaceful setting. And in the desert garden, which is quite interesting, we can have a garden in the desert, which I'm really interested to see. And it was one of the earliest area developed in University of Alberta Botanic Garden. And inside, the plants was uniquely adapted to arid growing conditions.
We are now in the Kermoto Japanese Garden. It is a 5-arc garden created in the casual style. Opened in the 1990s, the Kermoto Japanese Garden is named after Dr. Yuichi Keramoti. This garden is not only a garden, but a piece of artwork. Every place you stop, there was a view. Every side was a picture. I'm sorry, but her mother haven't given consent for allowing her to be in my YouTube video. The design is authentically Japanese, at least that's what they say on the website. But they utilize plant species that are suitable for hard northern climate. And ornament and structure inside this garden include lanterns, pagoda, entrance gate, bee fly, and a sumaya, which is the viewing shelters, along with the Ozawa Paena tea house, and a giant Ikoa Noba. I know my Japanese pronunciation is not really good. Please forgive it. This garden is to promote cultural exchange between Canada and Japan and provide a setting for workshops and retreats. Hey, do you guys see those fish? Like, I normally see them in movie, and I always saw like they was like as big as what you see right now. But actually, you see there are also small ones, which is kind of interesting. Like, okay, this is the end of this garden. We will go to the next one.
So we are visiting the Egohan Garden. Egohan was one of the richest family, and they are the friend of the
Prime Minister's family.
Okay.
Remember? Oh, that's before you came to Canada.
Yeah.
They had a vacation out there.
And then they
Egohan Garden, by its name, we know it was given by the family, the very rich family Egohan, and you can see it's much more modern compared to the Japanese one. It was a 4.8 hectare garden, and it was given as a symbol of the continued intelligent educational and cultural collaboration between the University of Alberta and the Egohan Development Network. It's an extraordinary contemporary interpretation of Islamic landscape architecture in a northern climate.
They are really, really rich. Look at it. Oh my god. It looks like a palace. Oh my god.
See this? If I'm rich, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to build. Let's see this. Designed by renowned landscape architecture firm Northern Broadwooden, and it was inspired by some world most famous Islamic architecture and landscape. And it used like delicate play of geometry, water, light and shadow to create a visual stunning experience. Its features include forest plant, garden and limestone terrace, to the pool that reflect the pearl sky, and waterfall that tumble over textured stone. And all those flowers, do you know how much it will take for them to just maintain those flowers down there? What? I'm jealous? No, ladies, listen. I am not jealous. Of course I will not be jealous. I was living on Earth that was like 4 billion years old, having a sun upon me. Do you know how much energy it creates? How much will that cost? And then I was sitting in subway that was million of dollars every day. And if I want, I can just look up at the sky. See? Do you know how much money is that? You have no idea the technique to use and the energy to use just to make the things above me. Kids, I'm just being low-key, for I am a modest person as I am.
Birdie.
Oh, you mean the down? Cap?
Yeah. My gosh.
Well, you could, if you ever could get near them. Because the wild ones aren't easy to get. But they make for life.
Is it like Canada geese?
Yeah.
Is Canada goose?
Canada geese in plural. Canada goose in...
Okay.
was asking about the down from geese, which is the warmest insulator and lightest. So very popular now. But when before Canada was created, the fur trade is what, made the whole country work. And fur is very warm as well, but very heavy. But it blocks all cold coming in. Just not practical for today or travel.
So the down part under the fur of the Canada geese.
Yes. Oh yes. And geese have like top feathers that block the weather, the wind, the rain, whatever, snow. And then underneath that is this soft, feathery down, which keeps their body warm, even when they're sitting in ice water. They swim around glaciers and snow and ice, and they're fine. And that's because of that down. Warming the body.
Okay. Quite interesting that people do not use that for commercial use. they use it. Maybe some use it. Anyway.
Okay, that's it. That's enough harm to cause in one day because money.
Right here, after we go in, we are going through the Kermato Japanese garden, and then we have just been finishing the Egohan garden, and now we are going to see the Gerben Pond. And since we already see the color, it would be nice.
So here is the herb garden, a wide range of herbs from well-known leaves annuals such as basil, coriander, or many. Garden has many plants with highly fragrant flowers or leaves, which make it a sweetly scented place to visit at any time of year. The collection and its produce are used by Garden's education program.
They actually have like a small things that tell you what plant is it. It'll be really interesting for me to go over every one of them. But no, this is a family trip. I must follow up with the other people. Otherwise, it would be great. Just sit here looking through all the plants. I'm pretty sure that a herb garden is not a major garden. But compared to the Japanese one and the Argand one, it's just way too small. Now we are here in the maroon shrubbery garden.
Feeling like beside plants, there's like not much to see. We'll just go to the next one. Unfortunately, I was not plant.
Well, I don't have much information about the last garden, but now we are going to the indigenous garden to the right. Despite all those plantations and forests, I feel like an adventure, jungle adventure.
Created in 1980, this is the first native people's garden at the botanic garden in Canada. The plants in this area have traditionally used by indigenous people, including medicine, dietary, and ornamentation. I'm very interested to see how those plants around us that was normally used being, useful in way we cannot think of.
Hey, this is a wild raspberry. It'll take good, but can you believe that its stem and root can be tea for childbirth and access ventral bleeding? Its leaf have multiple use. It could be tea for wool. It's wilted, can be toxic, and it could also be teeing the. This kind of look like roses. It is Rosa accucuneus. I'm pretty sure that's a kind of rose. Actually, the parkley rose. Its lower stem and root can be peeled and boiled to produce yellow liquid that's applied to when cold to sore eyes. Its leaf, stem, and roots can be peeled and boiled to produce a yellow liquid that is applied when cold to sore eyes.
After visiting the indigenous garden, I just keep working, trying to find different other places. I feel like they are not really big, at least not as big as those two we see in front.
Guess whose house is this? It could be right here inside the garden.
1770, that's quite a while.
A small platform directly introducing the person. I feel like he must be famous. The house of David Thompson Cottage. He mapped most of the area, and here is that he's the greatest land geographer.
Right in front of that person's house, here is the All-Americans Garden. I feel like it must be plants from North America. Quite interesting, on their formal website, there are not much about this garden.
So despite the two, major garden, which is tremendously big, you walk to that side, there are so many small gardens, and they were not really designed garden. It was a collection place of all plantation. So not as beautiful as the first two. Amazing enough.
I know there are much more to talk about, but it's time and there was a baby here. it's late. I probably need to go. Oh, this is a beautiful place. The first two gardens is really tremendous, like